Former Secretary of State Colin Powell's in the news today against his will for his private thoughts of the presidential candidates revealed in personal emails leaked online by hackers. In a 2014 email exchange, he says of Hillary Clinton, "I would rather not have to vote for her, although she's a friend I respect. A 70-year person with a long track record, unbridled ambition, greedy, not transformational." He goes on to cite a tabloid report on Bill Clinton's sex life. Powell is far more withering about Donald Trump, who he calls a national disgrace and an international pariah. In multiple emails, he comments on Trump's leadership of the birther movement, calling it racist, writing in one, quoting, quote, "There is nothing he can say that will sway black voters. He takes us for idiots. He can never overcome what he tried to do to Obama with his search for the birth certificate, hoping to force Obama out of the presidency." A senior U.S. intelligence official tells NBC News the site where the emails were posted, dcleaks.com, not affiliated with WikiLeaks, is believed to be a conduit for Russian intelligence. This is just the latest trove of hacked emails to disrupt the presidential race. There were those internal DNC emails released just before the Democratic convention, which revealed institutional bias against Bernie Sanders and led to the ouster of party chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. That leak was claimed by a hacker who goes by the moniker Guccifer 2.0, widely believed to have been made up by the Russian government in an attempt to cover up their own hack. Just yesterday, that same hacker released more DNC documents, including one containing what appears to be the personal cell phone number for vice presidential candidate Tim Kaine. According to a memo obtained by Politico, hackers are also targeting state Democratic Party officials and have successfully breached and impersonated some of them. Interim DNC chair Donna Brazile did not mince words when of who she holds responsible. Quote, "The DNC is the victim of a crime, an illegal cyber attack by Russian state-sponsored agents who seek to harm the Democratic Party and progressive groups in an effort to influence the presidential election. There's one person who stands to benefit from these criminal acts, and that is Donald Trump." It's not just the Democratic Party and other public officials being targeted. Not long after Russian athletes were barred from the Rio Olympics for doping, Russian hackers posted what they say are the drug testing records of gymnast Simone Biles and tennis star Serena Williams. Joined now by Malcolm Nance, 35-year career naval intelligence officer, now an MSNBC terrorism analyst. So here's my question, Malcolm. I find it as a non-expert citizen making sense of the news. You've got people saying this was the Russians, this was the Russians. I don't know. Why is that not jumping to conclusions that are not supported by the evidence? Convince me that there is a reason to think this is a concentrated effort by the Russians to essentially impact the U.S. election.
Well, there's a lot of evidence. And as a matter of fact, you don't have to believe just what one or two people say. Virtually all of the top cybersecurity companies in the United States, CrowdStrike, Mandiant, others, have been studying these groups and have been watching the fingerprints of two very large groups. Richard Engel spoke about them a little earlier. There's actually three wings to this hacking world from the Russians. There's Russian intelligence, which operates two different hacking groups. I'll use the simplified names, Cozy Bear and Fancy Bear. Then you have cyber criminals who are also involved in these hackings. We call them cyber criminal bears. And then there are these militia, these freewheeling pro-Russian people who do hackings. We call them militia bears. These three bear wings all have had fingerprints at one time or another. But ATP-28 and ATP-29, which is advanced persistent threat, which are actually these packages of data that are left behind by the two Soviet agencies, the FSB, formerly known as the KGB, and the GRU. Their fingerprints have been over hacks all throughout the world. We've identified them in Estonia when they took down part of the Estonian internet system. Georgia, the Ukraine, German intelligence identified them as hacking the German parliament. We've even seen them do false flag attacks pretending that they were ISIS's cyber caliphate army. ATP-28 and 29, these two Russian intelligence agency hacking packages are very well known, and their fingerprints were all over every aspect of the DNC, DCCC, the Hillary Clinton campaign, Colin Powell's. WikiLeaks appears to be their conduit for getting information out, and Guccifer 2.0 and this other group, DC Leaks, are just fronts for this intelligence operation.
All right, so then what does this mean? I mean, I find it like I don't even know who's doing it. When I think about Colin Powell, who is a public figure but also a private citizen, when I think about Simone Biles' medical records being hacked, it just profoundly unsettling to me. The idea of this sort of dystopian future we're entering into, of all this information being essentially in the hands of Lord knows who for whatever purposes.
Well, what's actually happening here is a very large-scale strategic political warfare operation against the United States that's being carried out by Russia. And Russia, you know, after the fall of the Soviet Union, the one agency that never changed was the KGB. They just changed their initials from FSB, you know, FSK, then to FSB, and they were led by the spy master in chief who is actually running Russia right now, Vladimir Putin, former director of the KGB. These operations are an integral part in their political process, and they've carried out operations through, you know, throughout Eastern Europe called compromat, where they try to compromise political groups and individuals, right, either through blackmail or through operations. And in this term of an operation, they are trying to put their scale on the thumb. Not really. They're actually putting their hand on the thumb, and they want an outcome for one person in this election, and that's Donald Trump.
All right, Malcolm Nance, thanks for your time tonight. Appreciate it.